During the last set, Team Urameshi didn't have much going for her. In this set, they have a whole new way to do things. Genkai stops being a fifth character, each team member gets an upgrade except for Kuwabara. The team starts to actually fit into their theme, and lastly, the team gets one of many new decks themes. What does the team do now? Well, they still have Beatdown and a few new cards to go with it, and the brand spanking new way to actually play Beatdown. Since Kuwabara is supposed to die, they use that as a card theme with a new card that I just can't remember off the top of my head, but it just gives you 1,000 more for each of your defeated characters, and if Kuwabara is a defeated character, it gives you another 1,000 for each of them. As for the normal deck, you can just use whoever you want to use in it and whatever you want to. And lastly, there's a deck that I like to call Kill with Kindness, where you make the opponent deck out by making them draw tons of cards. Is it any good? Well, yeah, it's better than last time, as each character has been upgraded except for just Kuwabara. And then again, getting Yoko Kurama, which is one of the best draw engines this side of, ever, isn't anything to snort at either. As for making the opponent draw everything, there's a certain decency. Then it starts, to just snowball into a deck all its own that just is able to win against, it's pretty much deck out. Pros? Well, with each new deck that Team Urameshi comes out with, you'll just notice that there's a major pro for this team as it is, through its versatility and the amount of ways that it can be played. As for specific pros, well, Beatdown can get powerful with the fifth character, while regular decks just isn't going to be all that bad. You can even use the original Genkai in the 5th match slot with the good Yusuke in slot 4. As for Kill with Kindness, you'll notice that it seems weak, but it can actually, if given the chance, make the opponent lose in even less matches than the opponent would be able to, win with. Just takes a bit of the right card drawing as well, as your opponent having a small deck. Cons? Each deck has its own cons in some ways. As for the regular Urameshi deck, you'll notice that it doesn't have much going for its normalcy, other than that you can just do what you want with it. And for Beatdown, I would suppose it's the fact that Kuwabara is still so weak. The major deck problem would lie with Kill with Kindness. Since the characters are very weak, you can possibly fight a deck such as Toguro Big Attacks and die within so few turns, especially since you make them draw the cards and not discard them from the deck. Teams that'll have an easy time beating? Well, there's a few new teams now that I would think that Urameshi would be like in set 1. They can fight everyone with no problem. It's the fact that they're so generic in abilities makes them able to stand up against any team in some ways. Will they have a hard time fighting? Well, I don't think anyone really. With the newfound power, they can probably stand up to Rokuikai even while lasting against the new Toguro team lineup. Even Uratogi may have a bit of a challenge coming from Team Urameshi. The decks, well, there's Beatdown. You'll just need to come in fast and hard to win with this deck. Each character can attack better now in general, and all the cards in the first set will just amplify your now somewhat impressive power. If it comes to match 5, Yusuke will just deal upwards of about 2 points in an attack. Even Kuwabara has an upgrade with the item card specifically made for him. 3,000 attack and 1,000 defense, just even if he's weak, he's 1,000 times better. Normal decks, since each character still can have their own card to use, the deck wouldn't really change all that much, and with Kill with Kindness, this deck just makes the opponent lose easily with cards such as Lost and the main characters on the team. Putting the characters in the right way will make the deck a surefire win. How does it work? Well, mainly you put the characters how you want, but for Kill with Kindness, I feel a specific way to run the characters is needed. Depending on what your team lineup is, you'll want to, have them something along this lines. If you have Botan, you'll want to use Botan with Keiko, and then Keiko works well with Yusuke, and Yusuke works well with Kuwabara, and Kuwabara works with Hiei. So Botan, Keiko, Yusuke, Kuwabara, Hiei. In that order makes it really work. As for another lineup, there would be Kurama, who works well with Hiei, who works well with Yusuke, who works well with Kuwabara, and Koenma. Then you discard Koenma with a card effect and get out Keiko by match 3. Because Kurama works with Hiei, and Hiei works with Kurama, and those two work with Koenma, so that's who he mainly works with. And then Kuwabara works with Hiei and Yusuke works with Keiko and, I believe, Botan, but she's not really too important. A third would be Koenma, Kurama, Hiei, Kuwabara, and Yusuke. Koenma will switch to Kurama, and then Kurama will fight, and then Koenma, when he gets a chance, will switch with Hiei, and then he'll lose a match in slot 3 if he makes it there. And Kuwabara will fight in match 4 where he is, and lastly Yusuke is the 5th match because of Kuwabara's ability. You'll notice that Kuwabara is in every team lineup, mostly because of his ability to draw and lower attack cost. You will also notice that Hiei is in every lineup as well, mostly because Kuwabara is so good, a character that his abilities to not, if you don't include Hiei, that would just be crazy, because I believe it's the extra lowering of the cost that Hiei puts on Kuwabara while Yusuke gives draw, and as much as draw is nice, lowering an attack cost is to 0, and attacking for free is even better. In conclusion, well, Team Urameshi hasn't really gotten any worse. They've actually gotten better, with each character getting an upgrade except for Kuwabara, which is completely fine. He'll have lots of love in later sets himself. He's going to get one of the best cards in generalization because he can draw, but for now, he's weak because the story advances that he's beaten in the show to make Yusuke better. And Yusuke having the ability to deal an extra damage regardless of whatever damage he deals when he deals damage could have him deal 3 damage in a shot. So if you can deal 3 damage with a card effect, you're dealing a 4th damage and you just win the match. Then again, there's Genkai, who gives you more spirit. Hiei discards cards from the hand and then offensively discards cards from the hand as well. And just Yoko allows you to draw and set up. The team is just amazing. As for other things, they're just great. So they haven't really gotten any worse. They've just progressed as a team in general, and that's what they're supposed to do because they're the main team. They're a Team Urameshi. They're the main characters. So in conclusion, yeah, they've gotten better, and even their fun team of Kill with Kindness is nice too, because you may be weak, but you're milling the opponent in a way to try and see if you can beat them before they beat you, because you give them all the advantages and all you're doing is helping them out, but you can still win from it because you're going to mill them out. So yeah, Team Urameshi's a good team. They're solid, and they will have more themes later on in the entire series, and they're just good to run.